recording. So, thank you very much to Ella for coming. Ella has a 20-year history of providing high-impact learning experience from remote workshops to the stage. She is a business school professor, owner of Ella Bates Corporate Training, and a passionate dynamic facilitator. Learning has been her specialty and is a creator of the Popular Learning Journal. And take it away, Ella.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you, Conrad. That was really interesting information. I would absolutely love to see that survey, as I'm sure many of others do, and looking forward to the rest of the programs that are coming up in the week. So Tanya and Clarington Board of Trade, thank you so much for inviting me. Productivity is a hot topic. And the irony is people are always late for this because we have this absurd notion that we can manage our time. We can't. Time is something that cannot be managed. But I want to share a quick story with you. Now, I've been teaching, my signature program is called the Productivity Bootcamp. It's been by far, in the last 20 years of writing programs, the most well attended and the most impact on people. And the reason why is that sometimes we forget there's so many tools out there to help us manage our time, right? And there's so many, great books and so many great Facebook posts coming at us, and we're like, oh, I'll try this and I'll try this and I'll try this. And we try everything, and we're constantly looking at these people who seem to have it all together, but we don't. I'm going to give you an example of this. So many years ago, I was living in London. Yes, Conrad, I lived in London for a time. I wasn't always in Manchester. And I lived in London, and I used to have to, so I only lived 3 miles away from where I worked, but I had to get 2 trains and a tube to get there, interestingly enough. That's how the rail system works in London. And it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I remember I just bought my brand new pair of GHD straighteners, no way affiliated with them, brand new straighteners, and I'm straightening my hair. I had really, really long hair there. Straightening my hair, I'm eating a piece of toast, and I smoked at the same time. So I've got a cigarette on and I go, and it's in my ashtray, and I'm eating some toast, and I'm straightening my hair, and I burnt the side of my neck here. I dripped butter all the way down my top, and I didn't finish my cigarette properly, and it was still like smoking out. And my boyfriend's like, oh my gosh, kind of, I'm like, I'm so busy, you don't understand how busy I am. And I'm grabbing my bag, and I'm like, where's my coat? And I'm trying to grab my coat, and I'm running down the road to trying to get my train, and I'm on the train, and I forgot my book, and I'm annoyed at myself. I was like, okay, I'm trying to find my papers in my bag, and my whole day was like this, my whole day. And I got to my training class, and what do you think I was teaching? What topic do you think I was teaching? Put it in the chat box. Take a guess. What was I possibly teaching about? Time management. You got it, Tanya. I was teaching time management, and I walked in. My hair's, it's half like this, and I've got butter down my top, and I'm like, okay, so am I, guys. And I walked in, and I said, here's the irony. It happens to all of us. What happens is our brains are like a vase. I have a vase to show you because I'm going to be using this vase just shortly. I had this really nice, isn't it cool? Very retro red vase. And our brain's like a vase, and we're constantly throwing things into it. And anytime there's any space, it's a little bit like having a purse. You're going to fill it, right? How many of us have a wallet or a purse that's full? And if it's empty, we feel like there should be something in there. And this is what we do with our time and do with our day. And it doesn't stop. Sometimes this happens to me, and I love it when it does, because it makes me go, stop, like a traffic light, stop. And what's happened now with the pandemic is we are now forced to face home and business life simultaneously. For the first time ever, this has happened. And whether you're a business owner or you're working for a corporation right now, this is probably true for you. So that whole running around, straightening your hair, eating a piece of toast, does that resonate with anyone? Has anyone ever had this experience? Have you dripped butter all over your top? Have you been like, I need to find this, and I need to find this, and really, really like, before you even starting your day? Does that resonate with anyone else? Or am I the only person that's experienced this? Tanya's putting her hand up here. Say yes in the chat box if this is an experience. Yes, this morning, says Amy. Barbara says absolutely. Right? It's happening to us all because we have all these things flinging at us, and we think, in order to grow, we've got to take these new opportunities on. We're saying yes, and we're saying yes, and we're saying yes. Candice is saying yes. See, it's happening to all of us. So I'm not going to be teaching you how to manage your time. I'm going to be teaching you to value your time. Very, very, very different. But before we move on, precious real estate, your time is the most precious thing out of anything in the world, next to money. Sorry, Conrad, but time is up there, right? So I want to make sure you get the absolute most out of this session. So the actions that you decide, at some point during this session, you're going to say, I'm going to do that. As soon as you come off this call, you're going to have to go and schedule some time to do it. Don't say, I'm going to do it, and then a week goes by, a day goes by, a month, a quarter, a year maybe. Oh, I should try that technique. You're going to forget all about it. So straight away after this session, you're going to schedule some time in to sit and think, what am I going to do differently? Because if you want things to be different, which I guess that you do because you come on this session, you're going to have to start doing things differently. So that's number one. Make sure you're scheduling that time, whether it's half an hour after this call, at lunchtime, tonight, instead of watching Grey's Anatomy, whatever it is. Then you want to do this as soon as possible because you want to get momentum. Momentum is once you start, it's like a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? The sooner you start, the more you're going to get that trajectory that you're looking for. You want to be consistent. Whatever actions you decide to take, there's going to be consistency is key. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen if you haven't already, or get the notes thing on your phone, or maybe bring up the notepad or if you like typing. But I want you to write down your actions. You don't have to write notes. Write down what actions. What are you going to do as a direct result of attending this session? Because otherwise you're just going to attend it and say, well, wasn't that lovely? Now let me go back to how I was doing things the way I was before, right? I want you to write down what are you actually going to do from what you've learned today. And then you're going to make a plan. So when you schedule that time, how are you going to do it? We'll talk about that in a second too. And you're going to do it early, okay? Don't wait until Friday. I want you to do this today. Take action today. You've got a choice. It's either day one or it's one day. Day one or one day. You've all seen that meme, right? And they're going to look at why. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So you've all told me why you're here, but I saw this quote yesterday and I had to put it in my slides. It's, I don't have time, is the adult version of the dog ate my homework. We all have time for the important. I'm telling you now, if Amazon Prime Day started in 5 minutes, you'd all be like, oh, and you'd find the time. Right? If your favorite ice cream went on sale, you would find the time. If your best friend was getting married and it was somewhere really, really cool outside skiing, you're going to find the time to go. You can find the time for the important. That's what today's focus is going to be on. So my first question to you, please go into the chat box because if it's just me talking, it's going to be very, very boring today. But I want to know what you think. Do you think that you need to be productive, or do you think that you need to be efficient? And this is for you. So there's a few business owners, there's some who are in corporations. What do you want to be? Do you want to be productive, or do you want to be efficient? What's going to work more for you? So Carla's wants to be efficient, Shannon, efficient. Amy wants to be efficient. Conrad wants to be efficient. Melanie, what do you want to be? You want to be productive or efficient? Greg wants to be productive. Now, isn't this interesting? Is that a lot of you are saying efficient, but some people say productive. What's the difference? What is, Janelle wants to be productive too. Okay, so let's define the difference. There's productive and there's efficiency. What does it mean to be productive? What does it mean to you to be productive? Pop it in the chat box here. You want to be efficiently productive? Oh, Candice, love that. You can tell you're a life coach. You're looking at it from a different lens. Yeah. Results. Okay, so Greg says you want to have results, which is why you want to be productive. Carla, you want to be efficiently productive. Okay, so the reason why I asked this question, Janelle says productive is getting tasks completed. It is and it isn't. It is and it isn't. So let's take a look at the traditional word. Checking things off the to-do list. Oh, I love doing that. How many people are the people that tick things when they're done, and how many of us do this on your checklist? Come on, who's the tickers and who are the... Where are my tickers? Where's the people that do this? A to-do list is beautiful. Amy's a scratcher. Candice draws a line. Barbara's a ticker. Melanie's a ticker. Oh, tell you a highlighter. So am I, look. Love it. Isn't that interesting how we all have different ways of doing things? Okay, let's address two things there. First of all, the more important, I've just shown you that we all have different ways of being productive and efficient. We all have different ways of time management. And I want you to know that that's okay. One of my first clients I ever had when I started doing efficiency coaching, she said to me, you know, I keep being taught these different ways of doing things, but I don't like it. It's not colorful enough for me. And I said, why do you have to do it those ways? Be creative, make it work for you. So I made her get a big block like this, a big block of sticky notes like this, and we turned what was an everyday tool, it was the Eisenhower matrix, if anyone's ever used that, and we made it out of sticky notes instead, because she was a creative artistry person, and her business does actually have the word creative in it, and she did this massive display of sticky notes, which actually encouraged her to do it because she's all arty and because she likes color. Okay, so we're going to find what works for you in all these tools that I'm going to talk about. Now we've only got an hour, so which means that I can't cover all of them, and I'm going to give you a special offer, some more information for free if you want at the end of this. Anyway, let's go back to being productive versus efficient. So being productive is just producing something. You're just producing, and yes, it's a great feeling to tick something off the list. I've done it, I've done it, I've done it. But what you've done, has it got you closer to where you want to be? I have a sticky note here. I'm going to show you. It's right on my wall here. I'm just going to cover this up because here, okay, so you see the sticky note? Okay. So I have it next to my to-do list, and it says, is this getting me closer to, and I have my figure that I want to earn this year, so I'm going to keep that to myself. All right, big arrow next to my to-do list. Is this getting me closer to a certain amount? No worries, Shannon. Right, is what's on your to-do list getting you closer to what you actually should be doing? Now, you could be super productive, but maybe everything you're doing has zero impact. In fact, maybe it doesn't even make you feel good. Maybe there are other people's things to do, right? I had a busy day on Sunday where I was basically a servant for my children. I spent all day getting snacks, getting drinks, cleaning up their mess, sorting out the Lego. Like, I was, yeah, it was great. It was high impact for me as a mother, but it didn't make me feel 100% satisfied until I did something for myself. So once they were sorted with the Lego and stuff, I had a nice bubble bath and so on and so forth. You're going to ask yourself, is what you're doing, are you just doing stuff, or are you doing valuable things that's going to have impact on you and the people that you serve and the people around you afterwards? It has to be high impact. Okay, so that's number one question. A way to write it down. Is what I'm doing getting me closer to where I want to be? Write it down. Is what I'm doing getting me closer to where I want to be? Okay? The chances are there's things on your to-do list that don't matter. But you think they matter, but they have no impact. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Now, the difference between being productive and efficient is this. Being efficient is doing the right things for the right reasons. Doing things for the right reasons and doing the right things and doing them the right way. Okay? And for those that follow me on social media, you see that I republished my learning journal. I'm trying to get it on Amazon. And I made the big mistake of not delegating it out. And it took me probably 12 hours to self-publish. It probably would have took somebody else 30 minutes and cost me $50. Does this resonate with anyone? Have you done this before and you've thought, why did I bother? Why did I bother doing that? It's like trying to fix a lawnmower. You can pay someone $60 an hour, or you can like lose your entire Sunday and sometimes your fingernails at the same time, right? It's called comparative economics. Conrad, you know all about comparative economics, right? It's very, very important. So we're going to focus today on being efficient with your time to be productive, to Carla's point, working on what is getting you closer to where you want to be. Okay? So I want to talk to you a little bit as well on that note about time management, because time management was a fad word that was made up in the late 80s, early 90s. Maybe there's some people on this call, maybe not. Maybe there's just me who remembers this, of the yuppie era. And it was the era where people bought Filofaxes and would walk around with these Filofaxes and Palm Pilots feeling very important in long trench coats. And they were very much business people and very, very important. Time management was brought up as a fashionable statement. You cannot manage your time. You can manage what is valuable. Okay, very, very important that you know this. I'm seeing things come up in the chat box. I'm going to come in here. Downtown Toronto. Yes, you do remember Tanya. Okay, not just me then. All right. So I told you we'd talk about this jar. So let me get out my tips and tricks here. So I saw this beautifully demonstrated in a Franklin Covey session. For anyone that doesn't know who Franklin Covey is, he's the father of the son who wrote the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't read it, it's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant book. So I'm going to bring down my video here so you can see. Okay, let me pull it back again. so you can actually see me a little bit too. So always imagine this is your day. Okay, so this beautiful jar is your day. And so typically we wake up and we see, oh, some messages on Facebook. So I'm just going to put these things in here. So there's a bit of a message from Facebook. How lovely. And oh, I got a text message from my sister all about what she's wearing on Thursday to my mum's little retirement thing she's having at her house. And then I went and turned on some music. And then I better go and check my email while I'm here before I get ready and see if there's anything really, really important. Maybe Tanya says we've got to start early. Maybe I got the time wrong. Already I'm in panic, okay? So I'm checking these things here and I'm checking these things here. Okay, so I'm doing all these little things and I actually get sucked in a little bit to Facebook, especially because someone's done a link to TikTok and it's really cool. It's about the squirrel that jumps from time. So I'm putting all these things in it. Do you see how full the jar is? Anyway, not even started my day yet. What's important for my day today? Okay, so I'm writing a new click funnel. Super important. This is my tea. I'm British. I have tea everywhere. Okay, I'm writing a new click funnel. I'm doing this session for you guys and I'm doing another session. So this is training. So I'm actually teaching 3 times. I'm a professor at a local college too. So teaching this afternoon. So that's that. And then I want to go to yoga because my health's really important to me. So let's say these are my 3 priorities today. So now I'm going to try and fit them into my day. But what actually happens is I can't because I've done all this other stuff already and I made all that really valuable. But if I just try and just kind of squish it like this, if I just do this, and is this resonating with anyone? Is this like someone's day where you go, well, these are the important things, so I'll just not go to yoga. There you go, that fixes that. Not going to yoga. I don't get to meditate. I'm not going to be silent today. I'm not going to have Shavasana. If you don't know what Shavasana is, it's the best thing ever in the world. It's basically you sleep on a yoga mat. It's brilliant. And yeah, I'm just not going to make my health my priority. I'm going to make teaching other people my priority instead. Okay, so now I'm not going to do that. And what's going to happen is tomorrow, I'm probably going to do the same thing, right? So I'm going to have all this stuff, the stuff that we do, the stuff we get sucked into, the stuff, right? Now, watch this. 3 priorities of the day. You should only choose 3 top priorities for the day. I actually have on my board my top 3 today. Okay, I show you my board, but it has some of my clients on it, so I can't. So instead, I sort my priorities out first. I hope this fits. Let's have a look here. I should have tested this, shouldn't I? Okay, let's do this. Fit. Okay, perfect fit. And then what I can do is I can stuff the stuff on the inside instead. I can stuff it around it, right? Because this stuff I want to do. I want to watch things on Netflix. I want to watch that squirrel video on TikTok. Sure I do. But I can stuff it around it. So if you do this stuff first, before we do the important's not even going to get a look in. My health would not have got a look in. Right? Something would have had to give. Maybe it was time with my kids. Maybe it was stuff that's important. But what happens is we do the stuff first. Forget the stuff. We shouldn't be doing stuff. This is what's important. People that can't manage the time have forgotten their values and what's important. Fact. Right? That resonate with anyone? Do you do that? Do you get lost in these? Right? Like you said earlier on, Tanya, right? You've said going to the gym. Let's say this. Going to the gym is really, really important to me. But also, so was watching the season finale of Schitt's Creek because it was David's wedding. Right? Right? It became a priority, but then another day went by and your health wasn't a priority. And another day, and then it's a month. And, well, I'll wait. I don't have to pay for it until next week. And it goes on. It goes on. Oh, I won't. It's one of the best episodes ever, Carla. Just so you know. I only watched it 2 days. Then it rained, it was cold, right? Then I can't find my gym stuff. I've been to the point where I've been actually sat in my car outside the gym going, I do not want to go inside. And it's once I'm there, I'm having a great time. Getting in there is really, really hard. That's another thing I can talk about. Right? It happens. That jar, it happens to us all the time. But I want to show you something. We all say, I don't have time for that. It's a little bit like the phrase, if ever you've used it or if your parents used it, we can't afford that. It's actually not true. You can afford things. It's just not what you're valuing right now. So imagine if we changed how we said things and we said, we do have time for that. It's just not top of my list of things that I value right now. Right? So my kids say, hey, can we go for pizza? Instead of me saying, we don't have time to go for pizza, it's just not how we're spending our time right now. We're going to finish this craft. We're going to watch this movie, whatever it is, right? Let's start talking about values, because here's how a typical day really is. Let me just showcase what time you really have. So let's say you have 7 hours of sleep, which I know not everybody gets, but let's say on average we get 7 hours of sleep. And we do 8 hours of work, okay? The production, to your point, Greg, you're producing something, okay? You're ticking things off your list, assuming everything on your list is important. Let's say an hour of getting dressed, having a shower, brushing your teeth, things like that, depending on how long your hair is, right? An hour and a half of eating, half an hour each meal. That's a total of 17.6 hours, okay? Which means that you actually have 6.5 hours almost a day completely free. 6.5 hours of the day. Now, everybody's situation is different. I have very young children, so I'm the snack servant for, let's say, a good 2 hours of that, right? Cleaning up toys. But regardless, there's still hours in the day. In fact, that's 32.5 hours in a week that's completely free for me to select what I want to do outside of normal work time. That's 130 hours in a month. So when we say, I don't have time to go to yoga, I don't have time to phone my mum, I don't have time to read that book, we need to be really real about what time we have. And what's the reality is, we've been doing this stuff, right? We are not taking our time as valuable as we should do. Okay, I'm just going to do time check here. Okay, good. All right. So I'm really glad that a lot of you mentioned about, I'm just going to bring that chat box here because it's going to be important in a second, about balance. Okay, now we've got a mixture here of business owners and people who are working in corporations. So I'm going to try and make this relevant for both of you. There's something called the balance wheel, and I have a worksheet around it of which you can go and download for free. Just go to elebates.com/balance wheel. If you like, I'll send the link to Tanya as well, and she can send it out to all of you. But elebates.com balance wheel, download that for free after the session. Stay with me here. Okay. And there are key areas of, let's say, an entrepreneurial business here: sales, finances, looking after your finances. And that's very, very important. If you're looking at me, I can see you're like, oh yes, good, she has that on there. There's actually your actual products, there's planning things, there's retaining your clients, there's following up with queries and proposals, and then there's marketing. And then we go around the circle again: sales, financial, product, so on and so forth. There's also one for personal life. I'll show you here on the screen. I have two. So in this particular balance wheel workshop that I created that you can download, it has both. So you can do one or the other. So I'm just going to close the chat box a second so we can see them both. Okay. This is a brilliant exercise to do. And if you take this full circle, this is also on the left. Let's go personal. Okay, so because this resonates with everybody. You have this whole circle here. Now, what I invite you all to do is download this worksheet after the session, and I want you to mark where you're at. 10 being, oh my goodness, my cup is full. I know I get exactly the right amount of time that I want to give to being spiritual, to being healthy, to socializing, to my career or business, to looking after my finances, to my relationships, and to my personal growth. Okay, so you're going to score them. And I want you to do the same thing with your business. Now, for those who are in corporations, you can change this wheel to whatever you want. They could be areas of the business that you look after. They could be areas or tasks. They could be projects, so on and so forth. This is a great, great tool. And then you're going to highlight all those areas. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the top ones, the ones that score the highest. So I'd like you guys to tell me, if you were to just right now, off the top of your heads, take a look at the personal wheel first of all. Which area would you say is suffering the most right now for you? On the left one, the personal wheel, which one is suffering the most for you right now? Is it your relationships? Is it your time with your children or your partner? Is it not spending that time sitting down looking with your finances? Is it spending enough time meditating, praying? Is it not spending enough time with your friends? You really, really miss them. Finances, relationships, personal growth. Amy, you're here. It's a personal growth. And you're building relationships with us too. We're getting to know you. Relationships, health, yeah, finances. Right? Conrad, see, there's a couple of people here who need help with their finances. Right? We're just not spending the time. Finances are all full. That's great, Candice. Yeah. Little bits of everything, right? Now, so what happens is we usually look at this whole wheel and go, oh my gosh, I should be doing everything all of the time. Ah! No, really, you shouldn't. At any one time, there should only be 3 that you're focusing on. So let's take the personal wheel here. So I'll give you mine. For example, so right now I'm focusing on my career, on my relationships, and my health. My health because I was forced to. And second of all, this is no better time than having this extra time of not commuting, of going. So I'm doing more hot yoga than ever I did before. And hot yoga is like a double whammy. Has anyone been to hot yoga before? It's like a double whammy. You lose 600 calories just sitting there, and it's exercise too, and it's spiritual at the same time. Just brilliant. I love my hot yoga. Anyway, so health is very, very important to me. So if I was to shade those in, I find that they're really, really low. They're areas that I need to be focusing on. So although that it's low, so let's say, for example, my social life is low. If that's not an area of priority, I'm okay with that then. If it's high on my priority list, that needs to go up, right? So sometimes you're going to find that your social life isn't getting as much attention than your spiritual life. And that's because your spiritual life has to be more valued right now than your social life does, right? For example, mindset, okay? We're in the middle of COVID. For those who are watching us recorded, it's October 2020 and we're in the middle of a global pandemic. So more than ever, our mindset has to be really focused on. So for a lot of you, that's probably high up there. For those people who have been massively impacted with finances, looking after your finances is high priority, right? Consider the fact that different unforeseen circumstances affect our priorities in life. Candice, you've said it beautifully there. You're absolutely right. Now, once your finances in order, so let's say you've gone and seen Conrad, you know exactly where you stand financially, you've done some moving around of some money, maybe you've invested some money to make sure that you're looking after things in the future. Should this happen again? Should this get worse? Whatever it is that you're making a plan with Conrad. So that's sorted. So now you're like a 7 with finances, okay? You want to be bringing more product. And you see that health is really low. Now that priority changes. So what you're going to do is download this worksheet. You're going to find what's low and what's high, and out of all of those things, out of the ones that are low, which are your priorities and what are you going to do to make a difference in those areas? So let's say, for example, let's take somebody here as an example. Let me just go into the chat box here. We're going to take Amy. So Amy, you talked about personal growth was low for you. Amy, would you say that personal growth is a priority for you? Yes or no? Yes, okay, good. If it was no, then it's okay to be low. I'm giving you permission to just put that to one side for a minute, because we look at this whole wheel and we think we should be at 10 at all times in those areas. You don't. Okay, so right now it's a priority for you. What 2 things could you do today to get higher in the personal growth area? And this question is to everyone. Let's help Amy out here and right now. Amy wants to enhance her personal growth, okay? She wants to grow personally. She wants some personal development. What 2 things, very, very quick things, could she do today to start moving up towards a 10? Come on, let's help Amy out here. Pop it in the chat box. What are your top tips? I'm going to do a time check here. Woo. Okay, well, everyone's writing. I'm going to give you a tip. Find out what it is that you want to know and order the book that you want. Yeah, Conrad said it here. Prioritize reading the book you've wanted to. Yeah, and the ones that are going to give you the most impact. Don't look at your whole stack of books and go, oh no, I have them all to read. Read the one that's going to give you the most impact, that's going to give you the most value. Yeah, good one. Set a goal to learn a new skill. Yeah, but understand why you want to learn a new skill. Don't just do it for the sake of it. I've always wanted to learn a language. What's it going to give you? How it's going to impact you, right? Schedule it in your day like you would work. Yes, Carla. So that could be very simply, before you start your day, putting on your headphones, getting an audiobook, going for a 10-minute walk at the same time as listening to it. 10 minutes a day, but scheduling it in, making it a regular activity. Yeah. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to take whichever one of these that you want to do. So you can either take the entrepreneurial one or the career one here. And if you're in corporation, just a reminder, you can change the tabs here. And then on the actual worksheet, it'll say, what is your lowest, what is your highest, and what is your priority right now? Which one should be a priority that you've not been making a priority and you need to? What 2 things can you do today to move it forward, and start doing those things? If it's spiritual, maybe it's going, before I go to bed, 5 minutes of meditation. If it's social life, you know what? I'm going to text my friend Joanne, see how she's doing. If it's relationships, hey, you know what? Let's have a date night. When the kids get to bed, let's crack open a bottle of wine and make each other some food. Whatever it is that you're deciding to do, right? Start taking action today, because we look at this whole wheel and we put ourselves into panic, then we're not doing everything. I don't want you to do that. Let's start getting value driven. Okay, so this is what the worksheet looks like here. It's a bit more colorful than the other screen. Just go to elevates.com balance wheel. I'd love to know that information. Yeah, Candice, listen to audiobooks or highly informative podcasts. Yeah, learned a lot from podcasts. Yes, I'm going to teach you something that I learned from a podcast yesterday. I was listening to Tim Ferriss. If you don't follow him, go and find Tim Ferriss. Brilliant. He talks about be very, very efficient with your day. And he said, ask yourself this question when something gets really overwhelming. What would I need to do to make this easy? What would it look like if this was easier? What a brilliant question. And that was me doing my Amazon book going, I should have delegated this out, right? Great question. Yeah, podcasts and audio books. So let's move along from the value system right now. And I want to tell you, do you sometimes feel like this? Do you sometimes wake up and you're like, let's go? I got this day. Today's going to be brilliant. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Anyone ever feel like this? Where you're like on a mission. You're like almost on a sprint. Like, I know what I'm doing. Today's going to be awesome. Right? Some of you feel like this. Good. Candice, you feel like this. Good. Yeah. Oh, it's such a good feeling when you wake up like this. But then have you woke up and there's days where you feel like this? Does this resonate with anybody? Have you ever felt like this? I know I have. I woke up and thought, I don't want to do today. I don't want to be an adult today. Yeah, you as well, right? Okay, everybody has days like this. So I want to ask you, where are my morning people? Where are you? Who are you? Say yes if it's you. If you wake up and you're like ready to go, you get your cup of tea, your coffee, and you're like, let's go. And sometimes you even wake up super early. Barbara's a morning person. Tanya's a morning person. Conrad, just sometimes. Candice is morning. Amy, morning. So we've got about 50-50 of you are morning. And how many of you are night owls? The ones who, like, you start to get that injection of energy in the afternoon, or even you can work late and you're on a mission. Yeah, Carla, you're the night owl. Who else is my night owls? Where are you, my night owls? So sometimes I'm a night owl, but most of the time I'm a morning person. Shani, you work late. Melanie, yeah. Sometimes you get this burst of energy in the night, right, Candice? And you think, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'm on a mission. I gotta get going, right? Right? Let me tell you this. You can read, the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. You can read, Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk, who say, work 10 o'clock at night, right till midnight and get stuff done. I'm going to tell you that that's all wrong. Work with your energy system, because here's what we do. If you wake up and you look like this photograph, we have this to-do list that's really dynamic and creative. Maybe you want to brainstorm, maybe you're creating a new product, maybe you're writing that proposal and you feel like this when you wake up. Do not try and do these really heavy items at your energy lowest point, because what you're going to do is you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to start kicking yourself and say, I just can't do it. Let me go back here. Oh, it's not letting me go back. Here's when you should be doing those high energy times. So what I invite you to do is to actually write down the times of the day where you're the most energetic, and that's when you schedule those heavy items in. Right? Work with your energy times. Now, I know that at about 3 o'clock to 5, it's been historically all my life, 3 to 5, I get this slump. No matter, I could take a protein shake, I could go for a yoga class, I could go outside and do aerobics, but I do not feel like this picture. I feel like this. I have a list of things that I do during this downtime, because I work with my energy. I do my high energy work when I know I'm high energy, and I do my low energy work. So I have a high energy and a low energy task. So tell me in the chat box very, very quickly, because we are running out of time, what kind of low energy tasks can you do when you feel like this picture right now? Also check if you have possible vitamin deficiencies. Yeah, it can affect your energy levels. Huge. Thank you for saying that. It's winter right now, B12. We've got vitamin D deficiency, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, emails. Yes. Meditation. perfect time to do meditation. Yeah, what else could you be doing? What else must you be doing during low energy? What about writing that newsletter? It doesn't take lots of creativity and lots of energy, right? The brain needs energy to do these meaty tasks. Scheduling social media, yeah, right. I actually do that. I have social media Sundays. I watch a movie Sunday night and I do all my social media then. Yeah, right. Because that's at my low energy. I'm like, oh, so relaxed. It's the weekend. It gets it done. And I don't do it Monday morning where I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's schedule my social media in. Right? If I'm feeling like, let's go, that's when I do my high energy tasks. This is what's about being efficient with your time, knowing who you are, when you're energetic and when you're not energetic, to take care of the things that are most important to you. Every time you do a task, and I invite you to do this after this call, take your to-do list, okay? So this is my to-do list. One of them is try not to die from COVID, because this is on everyone's list right now. And what I do is I data dump all the things that I have to do, and then I highlight all the things that I have to do that day that's important. Everything else does not get done, but it gets out of my head, right? Just gets out of my head. I invite you to do that. Is everything you're doing on your to-do list really, really important? Let me look at two last things before we wrap up here. Couple of things about scheduling. We've already mentioned, so expect the unexpected. Somebody said this before, and thank you. You're right. Unexpected things do happen. Have buffer time. Do not schedule yourself in from 9 till 5 o'clock where there's nothing left. Okay. What happens if your kid needs picking up from school because they've thrown pizza all over the pants and they need new pants? What happens if a client calls you and says, okay, we've got to move this project further, right? Expect the unexpected. Leave buffer time. Leave buffer time for if your energy is lower than expected too. So if you're cramming in all these high energy tasks and you get to 3 o'clock and you think, oh God, I just don't have the energy for it, you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel like you can't manage your time. It's because you're not managing when you're scheduling things in. Very, very important. Find the time to schedule. So I schedule in on a Sunday night. My schedule's just fallen apart this morning, which is a bit disappointing. But I put things in there and I highlight things. Let me find a good page here. Oh, there's no good pages here to show you because some of it has my clients' names in it. Anyway, on a Sunday night as well, I get my scheduler out and I make sure that everything's scheduled in for the week. I highlight things that are planning. I highlight things in a different color that's going to make me money. I highlight things in a different color if it's going to give impact to me and my values, my health, my relationships, my finances, things like that. Find the time to schedule. So you're not starting Monday and go, well, what am I doing today? No, exactly. Monday, I'm doing this. Tuesday, I'm doing this. Wednesday, I'm doing this. Now, for those that work in corporations and you're at the mercy of other people, just put buffer time in and say, yes, okay, between 1 and 3, I didn't have anything heavy booked in. So yes, I can do that project for you right there. Okay. This is why we leave gaps. Protect your time. If you say you're going to go for a walk between 8 and 8:30 in the morning, don't let someone else say, oh, can we have a call at 8? Or, hey, can you help me with my homework at 8 a.m.? No, 8 till 8:30, I'm going for my walk. That's when I listen to my podcast, okay? 9 o'clock, I'm free. Oh, between 1 and 3, when I have this gap in my schedule, listen, free. Protect it. Don't go, oh, okay. No, if it's that important to you to be in your schedule, keep it in your schedule, okay? Check in with your values all the time. That balance wheel is going to help you all the time find this harmony that you need. There is no such thing as balance. You will never have 10 in all of those things. Balance what's valuable to you in the moment. Right now, it could be COVID, like health is really, really important to us right now. It's a priority and it should be. Maybe finances is because of the economic crisis, like Conrad said. Maybe it's social life. Maybe your children, you're online learning and they're missing out on socialization and you need to figure out a way, getting kids messenger, having Zoom games and so many things you can do with kids. But check in with your values all the time, because if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling that you can't manage everything, it's because you're making everything as valuable as each other, and that cannot exist. One last thing to talk about, and then we'll be wrapping up in just a second here, because I know Tanya's like, look at the time, Ella. Multitasking is a big myth. There's no such thing as multitasking. You cannot do two things really well at the same time. Now, I say this as a woman. We're pretty good at multitasking as women. And by that, what I mean is I can cook something on the stove at the same time as talking to my mum on the phone. I do this because, there's no phones that look like this anymore. I have my headphones on generally. My phone's in my back pocket. But the amount of times I've gone, oh, it's boiling over because I'm trying to talk to my mum about something really important at the same time as doing this. You cannot. One thing, focus on that one thing. Get everything else everything off your desk that's not that task. If it's not that task, get it off your desk, because otherwise it's just staring at you going, ooh, still got this project, still not done your finances, there's Conrad's business cards, still not called him, still not made that 10 grand I wanted to this month. And everything's taunting us. It's like the laundry to be folded, right? It's there on your bed taunting you every night. You move it off your bed onto the floor. Gonna do that tomorrow. Move it into the laundry room. Don't look at it. It's not your focus right now. Having folded laundry is not important for you right now. Your value is whatever you've chosen, right? Only focus on what it is. If it's, if not doing dishes for 2 days is going to help you because personal growths are more important for you right now, put the dishes in the dishwasher. Stick them in the sink where you can't see them. Don't look at them. Do not let that be your area of focus, because otherwise you're going to keep kicking yourself. Does that resonate with anyone, where you see something and go, still not read that book, still not read Conrad, still not done that program, still not done, right? Stop kicking yourself. Work on what's valuable and you will feel that sense of satisfaction. I absolutely promise you that. Now, I want to tell you something very, very quickly before we wrap up here. I told you about my productivity bootcamp. It's going online in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited about it. I'd love for you guys to join me. I'm actually going to be doing another free webinar. It's a full hour where I'm going to be talking about how to prioritize properly, how to work even more with your energy times, your circadian rhythms and things like that. It's going to be really, really exciting. And I'd love for you to join me. It's totally free. You can go to oh my goodness, ellabates.com/make me first. Tell me first. There we go. And you, I can't remember things today. It's only Tuesday. ellabates.com/tell me first. Go and sign up there. When I do this free webinar, I'll send you an email. I'd love for you to join us and take this further. But while we wrap up here, just time for any other questions. I've given you lots of information. I've got 3 minutes here. So Tanya's like, come on, Ella, time management. I've said a lot of things and you're probably like, okay, I'm going to do this, or oh, that's a good idea, or let me get that balance wheel. ellabates.com/balance wheel. It's totally free. Just sign up for that. What is it that's made you go, oh, I need to do that? Or, I'm not sure how to do that. Tell me how you're feeling right now. What have you written down? What are you going to look at? What are you going to do? You've just given me an hour of your time. What are you going to do as a direct result of being on this call with me now? Tell me what resonated with you. Pop it in the chat box. Drink your tea. Cheers, comrade.
Well, I have something.
Yeah, Tanya. Yeah, please.
I know one of the biggest things, I think everybody, working from home as well, it's like you're constantly 24/7 working now. Your email goes to your phone, you're sitting there with your kids at night and you hear that beep and you're like, I have to get that email now. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Because home's your office.
Right. So
right.
Something that I've been trying to do a little bit more is to not answer those emails. Right? Because
I
20
can
years
even take
ago,
you a step backwards as well, Tanya. Turn off the notifications.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Carla's just said it there. I have the same thing. Carla, Tanya, I don't know if you have an iPhone and whether other phones do this or not. I don't know. But you can put do not disturb on your phone and you can have only certain people can send you text messages, emails, or call you during that time.
I did not know that. Now I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, literally just do a search on your phone, pull it down and put do not disturb in. So mine's from 9 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So if I have an important, so Tanya, you were on you could disturb me with an email this morning. You were on my list this morning because if it came through we're going to start earlier or later, or Ella won the lottery and no longer with Clarington Board of Trade, whatever it is, like you were important. So my boyfriend's on there, my mum's on there, people like that are on that do not disturb. It's brilliant. You don't hear anything ping that's not important.
Oh my
You're working on just the valuable, right? Candice uses it. Carla uses it. Thank you for sharing that. Candice is saying you're going to pick 3 big priorities as opposed to trying to do everything. Yeah, it's just 3 things. That's it. And once you've done all those 3 things, pick another 3. Barbara says the balance wheel, it felt like a light went off. You can't focus on everything at one time. You can't. Oh my gosh, you can't. If you could, we'd die very early because you'd be very, very stressed. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I went back to color blocking my schedule, like you mentioned, which is wonderful to see if I'm balanced. Yes. Now, Shannon, also, I'm going to invite you guys to start using different word too. Balanced is a word that we've been using for a long time. There's no such thing as balance. You will never have this. There will always be this, or there'll always be this. So, for example, Conrad, you can attest to this. Sometimes we'll be looking after our finances really, really well, right? But then our product developments down here a little bit. And sometimes we just need to, for that half hour, for that day, go and look after our finances, make sure our investments are working for us so that we can then go back to product making, right? So we'll do this with our things, right? You are never going to have balance. You'll have harmony, because if what's up here is valuable to you, that's harmonious. It's okay. It's okay that this is taking a back burner, because this is what I value right now. Okay. Just make sure that whatever is up here on your balance stick, demonstrated with this pen, right? Just whatever's up here is most important to you, right? And if you've got no time to manage your finances, get a Conrad, get him to do it for you. If you've got no time to do your social media, but it's important, delegate it to someone else. If you've got no time to relax, go and delegate it to, where's our massage therapist? It is, some of you, Amy, Drew, go see her. Get her to massage with you. And you can listen to a podcast at the same time, do your personal development, right? Go and give it to someone else, but whatever's up here should be what's most valuable to you. So every day, check in with yourself. Where am I with my values? I made health important. I've not gone to yoga at all this week, right? I have. I went last night. But make sure you're working on what's valuable for you. What else? What else has resonated with you today where you've gone, I need to do that. I need to do that. Tell me, one more thing in the chat box. What are you going to do as a direct result of spending time with us here, the Clarington Board of Trade and the BDC? You're all typing, which is great. Please go and get elebates.com/balance wheel. Get that. It's elebates.com/tell me first. I'd love you to join my next free webinar as well, learn some more things. I would love to hear what value there's been from today's session. Feel free to email me. Super easy. It's ella@elebates.com. How easy is that? And remember, like Tim Ferriss says, the next time you get really overwhelmed, say, what would this look like if it was really easy? And whatever that is, do that. So thank you so much for your time. Tanya, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all your interactions. I hope you've got some value out of today. And I hand the reins back to the lovely Tanya.
Thank you so much, Ella. That was really great for our first event for Small Business Week. You know, I have made all my notes here that I'm going to kind of look over a few of them and make sure that I'm definitely prioritizing differently starting today. Thank you to Conrad and BDC for co-hosting this event with me. Conrad and BDC are actually doing the small business event tomorrow on managing your cash flow. So today it's time management and tomorrow it's financial management. So get that pen a little bit more even, I guess, tomorrow as well. So don't forget to register. We also have 2 other events this week that BDC is also co-hosting. I'm going to be emailing everybody that attended today. I know that Conrad has emailed me the survey link, I believe, Conrad, and I will email you again with Ella's email, her website, things like that. So please look forward to looking for that. And that is all from me. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and hopefully we'll see you again later on this week. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Ella.